Hello and welcome to this video. So in this video I'm going to be talking about why you shouldn't keep driving your vehicle the moment that you see DPF light on, or the moment that you see on the diagnostic tool the vehicle telling you that you've got a DPF problem. Okay, now I might have done a similar video. I think if you look on my Facebook page, there must be a similar video whereby I was talking about this particular subject, but probably there's some things which I didn't fully explain, because all I just did was take a camera, turn it and shoot as I was driving, and I started talking about that, the whole DPF system, right? So in this video, I decided to take things take it up a notch a bit using this whiteboard and talk to you about exactly why you should stop driving your vehicle, why you shouldn't actually keep driving your vehicle the moment that you see that DPF light coming on. Okay, this video is intended to help you, right, by probably saving you a lot of money and probably saving you a lot of stress from what may have to follow if you keep on driving your vehicle in its state. So I just hope at the end of this video you should have learned 1 or 2, 3 things, and I hope at the end of this video I would have also saved you some kind of money, which you might end up having to waste if you continue driving that vehicle in that state. Okay. I want to give you a scenario, right? And this is the normal scenario that happens with people who've got vehicles with DPF systems. The first thing they do is when they see a DPF issue, they're going to contact their mechanic. Their mechanic is going to tell them, is going to have a look at the car, he's going to do one thing and the second thing, and then he fails. His solutions fail to work. And the next thing they decide, okay, let's go find another mechanic who can help us with this problem. They go to a second mechanic, and then a third mechanic, or a fourth mechanic, and by the time they're getting to other people, the situation of the vehicle is starting to actually deteriorate, right? That's the scenario that we have seen on a lot of people. That exactly is what has inspired me to start this whole DPF thing, right? Because we have seen a lot of vehicles being destroyed. We have seen a lot of vehicles, a DPF is not something that is really complicated if you look at it, but if you don't do things properly, you are going to have a problem. So exactly what is a DPF? Maybe let's start by explaining exactly what a DPF is. So a DPF is a system of emission which has been implemented on your vehicles coming from your Japan, coming from your Europe, right? Mostly your first world countries are the vehicles that you're going to see coming with a diesel particle filter, right? Now, talking about similar vehicles that we are manufacturing here in third world countries, like for example here in Africa, you'd find out that they come without a DPF system. Why? Because here in Africa we don't have those emission laws, right? So you typically find your first world countries with your emission laws and your third world countries without those emission laws. So manufacturers here selling similar vehicles here in third world countries, you find out that they do not have a DPF system, right? Now, the work of that DPF system is mainly to limit the amount of carbon footprint that's getting into the air. That's the whole basis behind having a DPF system, right? It's the same equivalent, the same of us putting a filter onto your mouth and saying the air that you are breathing out is polluting our environment. So what we want is all your dirt, whatever you're breathing out, to just go inside that filter. That's exactly how those DPF systems are working. But unfortunately, what ends up happening with those DPFs is that they get to a point where they are fully clogged, and then problems start to begin there, right? And how most in these first world countries, how they then clean those systems is sometimes they put them on these pressure washers or something like that, so as to try to clean those DPF systems. And all that residue, that pollutant which was supposed to go in the air, is not going into the air but now goes into the river. So sometimes looking at it from that perspective, then you start to question, to say, okay, so is this DPF really helping the environment, or it's, there is a bit of an argument there. If you look on the forums, if you really talk to your specialists out there. Now that is an extremely political discussion, right? And hopefully sometime later on we may have to discuss, have to go deep into that discussion and talk about the facts really. I know some people in my country would come. I mean, we've really done a comparison. You look at a car that came from UK or from Japan, and you look at a car that has been assembled in South Africa. You are noticing that the one that is coming from South Africa performs better and seems to be more durable, right, compared to those ones that are coming from these first world countries. So now it's a bit of a political discussion, but I think going through this process, as I'm going to explain to you how your system is structured, I think you begin to see through the lens of our eyes as well. And you should be able to understand what you need to do to your vehicle so that at the end of the day, those DPF issues, those DPF problems that you're having are dealt with once and for all. Okay, so I am going to draw, right, what your system looks like. Okay. So pretty much this is what the system looks like, right? For diesel cars which are being manufactured from 2005 going up, those are the ones that are coming with DPF systems, right? So this is what the system is. So right here, I mean, you have to forgive my drawing skills, right? But hey, it is what it is. So this is where the air is coming in, right? That's your intake. It comes in, your air goes through your turbo, is pushed all the way to your engine, right? So when your air gets to your turbo, it is compressed, right? It comes with super compression and gets into your engine, right? And then your engine will then breathe it out, right? Breathe it out, powers the turbo, goes to your DPF. And then for models from 2012 going up, you find out that they also have got another system after the DPF, which is the AdBlue system. It's just a system which simply squirts some emission fluid onto the expanded gases, so as to again further decrease the amount of emission that gets into the atmosphere. Right. So the DPF, like I said, is like a filter, which is really filtering that black puff that comes from diesel cars, right? That's the purpose of it, and how it regulates itself, or how it cleans itself, because any other filter you replace except for the DPF, right? How it then cleans itself is obviously it's got a mechanism whereby there are sensors around this DPF, and those sensors will realize the state of the DPF, and then they would command the engine to raise the exhaust temperatures. They'll command the some of the vehicles will come with another, which is called a fifth injector, right, or a seventh injector. The point of that injector, or an after treatment injector, the point of that injector is to squirt diesel into the filter, and when diesel gets into the filter, it's going to burn whatever that soot that is stuck inside the DPF, and it's blown out of the exhaust without you even noticing. So pretty much this is the system on most manufacturers. I mean, whether it's your construction equipment, whether it's your heavy vehicles, whether it's your small vehicles, this is pretty much what the setup is going to look like. It's almost universal. So now when you've got a DPF problem and you continue to drive that car in that state, here's what's going to happen. Remember, when the computer tells you there's a problem with the DPF, usually it means it is clogged, right? So when the DPF is clogged, there's going to be so much build-up that's going to happen here, right? That build-up is going to cause back pressure, which is coming back, right? Which is coming back to your turbo, and it's definitely going to harm it. And the first thing that happens when you've got a DPF problem is if you force that car to drive, you're going to have turbo failure, right? That's usually the case with these cars which have got DPF system. They usually take out the turbo. So the moment that you see you've got a DPF problem, my suggestion for you is to go and get help, right? Get help to a professional in your country. Go get help, even from us, right? Especially if you are within our country or near to us. I think we've done a lot of work for other people who are just near to where we are. I mean, like our neighboring countries and so forth. So my advice to you is, the moment that you see that you're having those issues, go to a professional and get that sorted, right? Now, what some other people end up doing is, now they will open the DPF and they're going to find it clogged. Now, when they find it clogged, some will try to wash it, and it might work probably for a day or two, and then the problems start coming back again. And the reason why these DPFs start to clog usually is as a result of an underlying issue which is happening inside the vehicle. So sometimes even when you go and buy a brand new DPF, buying a brand new DPF won't solve your problem, because there is an underlying issue that is causing your DPF to clog, right? Probably an issue to do with your air to fuel ratio mixture or something like that, right? Other people, what they end up doing is they just go and take out this DPF. After having opened it, they destroy the DPF, remove the insides so that it becomes a free flow exhaust, right? We have seen those cases, right? That's what people do, and they expect the car to perform. Now, the moment that you do this, the computer is going to find out that you destroyed the DPF, and again, it will not perform, right? It's now the computer that is deliberately limiting the power, because it's saying, look, my friend, you destroyed the DPF. That's when it's starting to give you that P2002 error code. It's saying, my friend, you destroyed the DPF, or the DPF has been destroyed, so I am not going to perform until you fix my DPF. That's what is happening there, right? So in that case, now you've got two choices. One, buy a brand new DPF, or probably contact us for a solution, right? When your DPF is being hollowed, right? So in this case now, probably what you may want to do, if you are someone who is interested in going ahead with doing it, because what we really focus on is doing a conversion to non-DPF. Now, if you want to go ahead with doing a conversion to non-DPF, just to save your turbo, you might just go ahead and hollow what is inside, right? Because at the end of the day, if you keep on driving it with those with the DPF in that state, you're going to destroy the turbo. That's what's going to happen, right? So pretty much that's what is happening. And usually when you are seeing back pressure building to destroy the turbo, usually again you're going to see an issue with the exhaust gas recirculation. It's just a valve which opens and closes and returns some of that expended gases back into your engine, part of those emission laws again. So that's why we then say, look, my friend, when you see yourself having a DPF issue, you shouldn't keep driving. Now, some other people again will say, look, after having done this, I'm okay, even if the vehicle is limiting power, I'm okay driving it like that. Now, the problem with driving it, showing you this error code, the P2002 error code, or the what is it, 2463? Those are the two codes. That's the other code that it shows. Others I'll show some of those codes that it shows on the screen. If you keep on driving it, right, with these fault codes coming on, what's going to happen? Because remember what I told you, that some of these vehicles have got an after treatment injector. For those that don't have an after treatment injector, they are going to deliberately overfuel from the engine, right? They're going to deliberately overfuel inside the engine, right, through the injector. So what's going to happen is you are driving a car that is overfueling. So it's going to not just hurt your pocket, but as you are aware, when you are driving a car that is overfueling, what's going to happen is that excessive diesel that those injectors are squirting is going to end up mixing with your oil, right? And when it mixes with your oil, you're going to have a situation whereby the oil inside your engine is going to have abrasing, what's the term? Characteristics of basically washing away your engine, basically, right? So what it means is that you are supposed to, if you are going to continue driving it in this state, it means you are supposed to where you were supposed to service your car every 5,000 kilometers, probably you have to service probably every 3,000 kilometers or something like that, because we are saying that your oil is deteriorating far much quicker, and when it deteriorates far much quicker, it's going to have properties of washing away the internals of your engine, which is very terrible for your engine, right? So those are the main reasons why I say you should not keep driving your vehicle, because once you see it show those DPF problems, once you see it showing those DPF issues, and we have seen cars that begin, that's at the end of the day why you see people ending up having to sell those cars, because they feel like that DPF is really something that is doing them a disservice, right? So here our solution is to convert your car to non-DPF. Now, when I say converting it to non-DPF, we are really getting rid of everything after the turbo, right? Everything that is after the turbo here. That's what we are dealing away with, and now we've got a free-flowing exhaust. Now, simply because your computer has got an algorithm which from time to time checks this exhaust, again, we're going to do a conversion on your computer so that it just becomes the same as the ones that are being manufactured here in Africa, those ones that do not have those DPF systems or those emission systems. And I know the question that you're asking me is to say, okay, look, if you have done that conversion, then are we not going to affect anything? Are you not going to affect the performance of the car? I'll tell you that the performance of your car will actually improve. I think if you go on our Facebook page, we've really been talking about this phenomenon, right? Once you've converted your car to non-DPF, you're going to see it perform even better than what it used to do when it had a DPF, right? In terms of the fuel consumption, again, remember what I was just explaining, how it regulates that DPF system. You're also going to see your fuel consumption improving as well, right? And also the lifespan of your engine will improve, right? So just because there is no more back pressure at the turbo due to that DPF, what it means is your turbo will be far much happier. It will last even longer. That's one. Two, because there is no more passive regeneration, right? That process of deliberate overfueling so as to regulate the situation in the exhaust, because that is no more there. What it means is that that situation of your oil mixing with your diesel will not exist, right? That situation will not be there. So what it means in the long term is that the longevity of your engine is just going to improve, right? So that's just another big benefit that follows. And then the other issue I want to talk about is the legality of doing so. Now, obviously, if you are in a first world country where the laws are saying you cannot do this, you cannot. There is nothing to talk about here. You just cannot do it. But here, in countries where we can really do this without a problem, I mean, this is pretty much can be done, and we'll do it, right? That's exactly the service that we are providing here. And wherever you are, we are pretty much able to help you, right? And it doesn't matter what kind of equipment that you have, whether it's a small vehicle, whether it's a truck, or it's a construction equipment or agricultural equipment, we are still going to be able to help you. So pretty much that's so pretty much this is how we deal with these DPF systems. And we are simply saying the moment that you see your car having a DPF issue, stop driving it. Go to a professional. Whether you're not going to do exactly take our solution, that's fine. Whether you're not going to do that, but at least go to a professional who understands these DPFs. Find a way to just deal with that situation. Otherwise, if you don't, it's going to lead to far much more expensive problems if you don't. Right. So pretty much that's what I wanted to talk about, and I hope, having watched this video, I hope you have managed to get one or two things, which at the end of the day means you won't have to have those sleepless nights. You won't have to end up losing your very important asset. Right. Thank you very much for watching.